Shalom, shalom. Shmi nasi karashi shema. Ani mipalel shahakol beseda irkemayom o habuker. Peace to you all. I am Chief Prince Shema. I'm praying all is well with you all today or this morning. I wanted to try my best to do a quick video. And, I've been on the path that I'm on for about 13 years now. Be 14, for 13 years. And I've seen a lot and I've heard a lot as far as doctrine. And more specifically, what I'm going to speak on right now is the language. Languages have different dialects. So I wouldn't be genuine being a person that truly loves the Hebrew language, if I would say that, hey, only stick with this dialect. Even in the old days, the Tanakh days, there were different dialects. One example is they were able to distinguish what tribe or region you were from based upon how you would use the shin versus the sin, and they'll know that, okay, yeah, you're not from here because of the dialect that you're speaking. And then realistically, we see that here, like in the United States, you got so-called black people that, are country, and then the northern so-called black people, our speech is different, So I think that we forget those type of things. But I'm okay, and I encourage to speak whatever dialect that you prefer. Just speak it. Most of us, we're not trying to speak the language. We don't really. We like the idea of speaking or learning Hebrew, but we are not really for learning it. Putting in the work to learn it, doing what's required to learn it. Like any language takes work, and it takes diligence. So a lot of times, people, we diminish, and we don't even know that we do this. We do it ignorantly, and some people do it on purpose. But we diminish a dialect due to whatever it may be, what has been regurgitated, what has been pushed, and then we remove just the intelligence that we have, because we're all intelligent, but we remove it for the sake of what we like or being right. So I'm gonna get right into it. There are a few different dialects in Hebrew. We know the dialects that Israelis use, but then we have in the so-called black community, or B'nai Yisrael, or Israelites, we have what you would call, people would say, Yiddish, which I don't believe any of us speak it or even trying to speak Yiddish, but we have a false understanding of what Yiddish is. We have Lashon Kadash, and then we have those that go off of Lashon Kadash, but they won't say they are Lashon Kadash. So they will use the A-class vowels. They will use the wow as a oo sound. They will use the ayin as a I sound. And nothing's wrong with that. The only thing, and the purpose of this video, and I don't know if you all going to watch, I hope you all do, is to kind of bring some light and some understanding. There are some that are against the vowel points of the script, and man, this is interesting topic, right? The Masoretes is a lot of the translations and things like that kind of started stemming from that. But I'm not going to get into specifics. I want to just try to make it simple, because I don't want to go into those type of conversations right now. But let's keep going. we want to stay away from the vowel points and stuff, and because it's these the Israelis that did it, you know, the Masoretes created it for the sound, you know, and some people believe, well, this wasn't we didn't have vowel points with the ancient Hebrew, but here's the problem: we did have vowels. Vowel points weren't needed because this was the people that spoke the language. They literally spoke the language, and other languages, by the way, because we don't speak. A lot of us don't speak a lot of multiple languages. But vowel points is present to show you how to pronounce. If we don't have something showing newcomers how to speak a language, then we're going to create our own sound, which is what a lot of us are doing. And I'm not against that. Again, if we're going to create our own sound, cool, but we cannot diminish what's already here. A lot of the things that we're learning now, a lot of us use the Blue Letter Bible, concordance, things of that nature. That was not written or done or put together by us. Have we ever thought that, and we put the Most High in a box, that the Most High preserved it through the converts? Have we ever thought about it? The very scripture that we're reading, the different translations that we're reading, the ones that we hold fast to that we're reading, is not by us. So we can't pick and choose. We can, but we can't pick and choose. So let's get to the Paleo. It is beautiful. Not even Paleo, the Phoenician or the pictograph. It is beautiful to learn the pictograph. It is very beautiful. I think that everything has its purpose. The pictograph, understanding the numerical value of a letter, understanding what a letter means. For example, the word for father is Ab in Hebrew. I'll get into the Abba later. The word for father is Ab. So you have the olive, right? The strength, the leader of the home, the beit representing home. All right. So Ab. Same with the mother. The mother is a form of the leader too of the house, a strength of the house. You know, the mem being representing water or whatnot. All these things are important or is important. But when you're speaking, you're not saying that. You're not saying father, or you're not saying strength of the home. What are we eating today? You're going to say Ab. So, although that is great to understand, great to use, great to teach, it's amazing to teach because it gives you go deep into the meaning of what it can mean. But we also got to understand that we, even with those meanings, everyone's not coming up or saying the same meanings. But as far as speaking, it would be the same. Maybe that's understood what I said, maybe that's not. But let me continue. So you have Ab. I don't know if a lot of people know this, but the Paleo script would have been the time of your Moshe and beyond. The Paleo script, not the pictograph, but the Paleo script. So that's my question for people. We go hard on the pictograph, but we don't go hard on the Paleo script, and there are some that do. But let's continue going. So we have individuals that teach the pictograph, which I am in support of. I'm in support of that. But they downplay those who are speaking the language, but they aren't. A lot of us don't understand that Hebrew is a gender-specific language. So we will be very strong in the understanding of the pictograph, but we won't be very strong in the understanding of speaking and grammar, right? And the gender, how to use the words gender and gender specific, how to understand that the root words that you're looking up, when you look up root words, that is not the word that they use in conversation. It is the root. The root word is third person, singular, masculine. For example, if you say the word zakar, or you say, I don't zakar, you're not saying I don't remember. You're literally saying I don't, or ani lo zakar. You're saying I don't, he remembered. You're saying ani lo zakar. I don't, he remembered. When you should be saying is ani lo zocher, or if you are a female, ani lo zocheret. Ani lo zokeret. Right? I believe that everyone has a certain love for it, and I respect it, and I want us to grow. I want us to keep going. But in that, we have to understand that we're knowing one part of it, but we don't know it all. And with that, we have to gain humility and not denounce or tear down something else that you don't understand. For example, Yiddish. Mother and father in Yiddish is Mutter and Tate. Mother and father in Aramaic is Abba and Ima. Some people might say Abba and Amma. Hebrew is Aim and Ab, mother and father. Some might say Ab and Am. And that's okay. But there are problems with the pronunciation if your vocabulary is not extended. You have words if you don't understand context. For example, if you don't use the Paleo script, if you don't use the pictograph, if you don't use the Aramaic block script, can mean nation or people. It's with an ayin, mem, right? But mother is with an aleph and a mem. I'm about to go everywhere, y'all. I'm gonna try to keep this short, but it's so much I want to get off. So those three that I mentioned, they all use one script. That script is Aramaic block script. Scripts are not the language. Script is the writing system to convey whatever language is using that script. So Aramaic block script covers at least three that we just mentioned. Hebrew, modern Hebrew, Yiddish, and Aramaic, of course. English language uses the Latin script, which like 15 other language groups utilize, Spanish being one of them. But English is not the Spanish language, but it uses the script. Paleo script. Multiple groups of people use the Paleo script. Ancient script, what we call it. Not just the Hebrews. But this would have been the script that Moshe wrote. This would have been the script that we found on rocks and caves and stuff like that in the time of that period when Moshe was dealing with B'nai Yisrael and going forward. Before going in like captivity and things of that nature, right? Phoenician script, pictograph, multiple language groups of people used it. It wasn't just us. When we realize and understand that and we teach that, then we'll understand that, hey, the speaking is what we should focus on more, because anything can happen to where you have to use another script. A Spanish person today can use the Aramaic block script or the Paleo script. I'll give you an example. Lo siento, I'm sorry in Spanish. How would you spell that? We know we spell it with L-O-S-I-N-T-O in Latin script. In Hebrew, it would be lamed, wow, samik, yod, noon, tet, a wow, lo siento. It's just a system to write. The beautiful thing about the script that's being used with the Paleo script and the pictograph is the letters have meanings, and that's what's awesome. That's why I don't teach against it. But I encourage those who do teach the Paleo script and the pictograph to do the same thing that I'm doing, especially if you need to grow more in your understanding. We all are growing. Some of us are some of us are past others, right? More equipped than others. That doesn't make us greater. What I'm going to do, and I got to get back to the mother and father, I will. What I'm going to do going forward, because I see that it's hindering our people from learning to speak. I was talking to my Isha about what I'm going to probably do. I don't know if it's really going to change, because what I learned about us as a people is we make excuses of why not to do or learn something. And that excuse is really not the reason why we're not learning. So I'm going to try to help and change that excuse. And I was telling my Isha, this is what I'm going to do. I put a post up yesterday. Instead of just teaching, so when I'm teaching people how to speak, I typically use the Aramaic block script. That's a script that the literature, the Tanakh was, translated from Aramaic block script. I'm going to start every time I write the Aramaic block script, I'm going to write the Paleo script as well. The beautiful thing about building your vocabulary and just learning Hebrew in general, how to speak it, is once you learn that, you're able to use whatever script you want to. And it increases, right? So say if you only know Aramaic block script and your vocabulary is pretty extensive and you want to learn how to use the Paleo script, all you have to do is put the Paleo script. So so if I say, I think that I need it, right? I will put that with the Aramaic block script, write it out, but then I'll put the Paleo script under it. And that Paleo script being attached with the Aramaic block script would allow me to learn the Paleo script, because the Paleo script is going to match the Aramaic block script as far as when you translate it. So going forward, that's what I'm going to do. For those that use the Paleo and they only want the Paleo and they're not learning the language because you don't want to use the Aramaic block script, I'm going to put the Paleo script with it and give you an opportunity to actually learn how to speak now. But then there's dialects, the A-class vowel and things like that. I say if we want to learn, really learn, you all. So let's get to the mother and the father. So I talked about the writing system being used by multiple people. It wasn't just used by us. If anyone is teaching that, then they're teaching they maybe don't know, or they are biased. And I say that respectfully. We have to be intelligent with the information that we're putting out, right? So let's deal with mother. I was encouraged to make this video. I didn't want to, I try to make sure I'm respectful with every one that I'm, networking with and things like that. I don't want to come off as though I know and you don't. That's not what I want to do at all. I want us all to grow. So, it was a conversation being had about the word mother. But the thing is, someone has to put this out because, again, I've been in this for 13 years. And I've been, studying the language for a little while now and studying neighboring languages and, sister languages and things like that. And this same conversation has been had so long by so many people. So I just want to talk on it by using the most current conversation about it, which is still the same conversation that's been happening for years. A lot of us that come into this understanding, we're just repeating what those that were before us were talking about and debating. and these same topics of debate, it happens and it really doesn't go past what it should go past, because most people who debate it do not speak the language. Speaking the language does not mean that you know, because it's people that, I was talking to some natives, some Israeli natives, specifically people from Dimona that speak Hebrew. And some people call it Yiddish. No, it's not Yiddish. We understand, Polish and Germanic influence and stuff like that, and borrowed words, which every culture does. But it's not Yiddish. It's not what it is. So let me get to what I'm trying to say. So the same conversations, the same debates and things like that have been happening for so long by people who are just regurgitating what they hear. That's one. And also not trying to even learn the language, understand the breakdowns and stuff like that. So now we're just repeating. I'll give another example, because I'm going to get back to the mother. I don't think people understand this. The reason why most of us, when we are speaking Hebrew, no, let me get back to the native real quick. So the guy, I'm not going to say his name. I asked him, hey, why do you all use Babakasha, right? Or Bebakasha. People say Bebakasha. Why do you all use that for thank you? I think it is. So they use it for thank you. I forgot what they use it for. They use it outside of what it's actually supposed to be. And he said, I don't know. Because I said, Babakasha is really in, Bakasha is request. The bit before that, Babakasha, is in request. So you're requesting something, so you're saying, please. Babakasha, in request, please. But they use it as thank you. No, I'm sorry. They use it as you're welcome. They use it as you're welcome. I'm like, and he said, I don't know. He's been speaking Hebrew since birth. And a lot of times people just do what they're taught. And he didn't know. So I say that to say, it doesn't, just because a person knows how to speak it, doesn't mean that it's right too. Just because people have been doing something for so long doesn't mean it's right. For example, it's people in my community that when they're reading, they'll say, when they got readers, they'll say Tamshik. Tamshik. And those that's watching this, y'all know I'm right. Especially if you've been second, third, fourth generation Hebrews, you'll say Tamshik, which means they use it as continue. They'll read, they'll be talking, and then they'll tell the reader, Tamshik. Tamshik is you will continue. That's talking about future tense. Now, granted, some could say tomato, but that's not the case. It's not tomato. Tamshik is you're talking to this person now, and you're talking about the future, what they're going to continue doing. If you want them to continue now, you're giving them a command, right? You're going to say Hamshik. That's continue right now, at this moment. That's very small, but it's important. It's a lot of things like this. But I'm going to get back to the mother and father. Man, I lost my train of thought. So I'll circle back around once it pop back up. So it's not, okay. So yeah, we're going into the pictograph and all that stuff. So it's all needed. But, so the Bible, the Tanakh, I don't say Bible, so the Tanakh, right? 98% of it, maybe 3 or 4 places is different. You got some Ezra, Nehemiah, to where it's talking to everyone. But most of the scripture, 98% of it is written in the masculine. But Hebrew is a gender-based language. But so why is the Tanakh written in masculine only? We forget the structure of the culture, the leaders, how they passed the message to the people. It went through the channels of the leaders, right? You have your prophets, your priests, your kings, bringing it to the elders over the tribes, and then the elders go to the fathers of the houses, and they bring the message down that way. You have your prophetesses and stuff like that, but normally that's how the message was written. So most times you're only going to see the Tanakh in the masculine. And if it's plural, it'll still be masculine. It will not be feminine when you're talking to people, because it's talking to the leaders. That's the hierarchy structure, a hierarchical structure in the culture. That's why it was written like that. So when we're learning languages, a lot of us, when we're looking into the scripture, we're only teaching the masculine. Always. We're not teaching the feminine. We're not teaching you know, singular and plural either. A lot of us aren't doing that because we don't know it. And a lot of us who don't know it, we're the teachers that are continuing the cycle of the misunderstanding of the language. Even if you didn't speak it and you was able to teach the Aramaic black script, you know, the beginning courses or the Paleo script or the pictographic script, learning that concept that I just brought out is very important, because if we don't, we're continuing the cycle of misinformation being put out. So I think I said all I wanted to say on that. Going to the mother, because that's the topic. In the scripture, when you go to like Genesis, Bereshit, you see something dealing with Hawa, and it calls her the mother of all the living. In the Hebrew, you're going to see Aleph Mem for the word mother. Aleph Mem. Whether it's Aramaic block script, whether it's Paleo script, or whether it's pictograph script, a word does not change due to another word added. Let me say that again. If another letter added, if another letter is added, it is a different word. But the word itself is what it is. So Aleph Mem is the word for mother. Whether you say aim, which is what I teach, whether you say M, which I can understand you saying M, because if you say aim very, very quickly, M, it sounds like M. Or whether you want to say which I don't teach, but I understand what you're saying if you say it. I'm not one of those teachers that will say, you got to say what I'm saying. No, I understand dialects. I understand communities, may want to shift and change something up. As long as your grammar is right, I rock with you. If you want to speak Lashawan Kadash, speak it. Also learn when it started too. When did it start? Why did we create it? How do we create? What did we create it from? The root words. How do we find out about the root words? Those that put the blue of the Bible, the concordance stuff together. Was it us? No, it wasn't. So how do we find out? The Most High must have preserved it for us. So when I'm saying that because, we say, that's what they do. We shouldn't go that direction. We should go away from it. Well, we wouldn't have found out about it if it wasn't for them being used, the converts continuing it through the process of us being scattered in different captivities and things of that nature. We would not have known what we know now. But it's always been there. The language has never died. People say it died. It has not died. It was always a group of people still speaking it. Whether it was lethargic, however you say the word, lethargical or whatever, they still was speaking it. Maybe not conversing like I'm conversing with you now, but they were still speaking it. So let me get back to what I'm saying. I feel like I missed something. I messed something up, but I'm going to keep going. Hands ass boy. So yes, this was going to be a decently long video because it's so much to talk about. So mother is mother. But root words change, you all. Root words, when forming other words, will become different words. Like in Hebrew, you got a word, katav, dealing with writing. Katav is not just writing, right? Katav is not just, katav, I say katav. It's not just writing, it is he wrote. The root word is he wrote. That literally means he wrote. But to say I'm writing, you're going to shift to say ani choteb, right? Anikotebet if you're a woman. But that's not the point that I'm bringing out. That still has something to do with dealing with the word he wrote, I'm writing. But a word that comes from that root word, the word for letter, is miktab. Letter is a whole different word, different meaning, but it still derives from the root word katab. People that don't understand what I'm saying is going to be like, I don't see the big deal. It doesn't. That has to be the same meaning and the same word. No, it is not. Miktab is a totally different word. It is built from the root word katab, which is he wrote. Now, let me get back to mother. I'm bringing all these out. I hope you all are staying with me. I hope you all are watching and understanding. Let's keep going. Mother. The problem if you do not have if you don't build and learn and build your vocabulary with this word mother is it's another word as well. The word Aleph and Mem is two different words. One is the word mother. The other is the word if. If your vocabulary has not grown and you're not learning how to speak it, you will not know that word is if as well. Aleph, Mem. Another example of that is the word Shin Mem. So a Mem Sofit, or Shin Mem, whatever you want to say. And that word can be, remember people say Hashem, the name? So shame, I teach it as shame. But Shem, being the word name, there's another word, and that word is there. Sham. So when people say, well, vowel points, we don't need the vowel points, we got to go back. They did it for this. No, vowel points are needed. Think about when you have children. I'm going back to the mother, but all of this is needed that I'm saying, you all. Think about it when you have children. When they first start mimicking you, saying everything that you're saying, they don't know how to write yet. You haven't taught them. Maybe some people teach them early, 2-year-olds and 3-year-olds, but you haven't taught them yet. So when they learn to write, now they're learning the letters that goes with the words that they know, and then they're learning the vowels. Okay, you say I don't know. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Go, the word go. They say go all the time, but then they learn the letters G and O, and what's the vowel? O. They learn it. They're learning it. A better example is, I'm gonna stay with that example real quick. So you put your children to school. They go to school and they're getting taught the vowels with the letters of the words they already know that they're already speaking. That's one example of what the vowel points were for, why the Masoretes did that. But we totally remove it. The Masoretes did that because of, have you thought about the captivity? Have you thought about all those things? Them trying to preserve it? I know that's a school of thought that's taught, but I'm trying to make it more realistic. Let's make it more realistic. You have someone that come to the U.S., they don't speak English at all, but they're trying to learn it. They're going to learn the system, the writing system, and then they're going to learn the vowels that come with it, because if you don't have the vowels, you won't know how to say the word. Now, some will say, well, it's only 8-class vowels, so that's all you really need, and I will not fight you on that. If that's the dialect you want to speak, I support you. But speak it. Don't just speak intro sentences. Don't just speak a prayer and be satisfied with that. Now, if you want to be satisfied with that, I support you too. But I encourage to learn the language, whatever dialect you want to learn. I encourage you. I'm not going to beat you down for speaking Lashon Kadash when I prefer to speak the dialect I'm speaking, which is still different than the Israelis in Israel. The thing is, all these dialects are still close. You could still know what the person is saying. The only one that's very, very, a little more different is the Lashawan Kadash. But if you are someone that's kind of hip to understanding the A-class vowels, you could know what they're saying as well. I know what they're saying, especially if I listen hard enough, because I know how to change and shift from the normal way of saying the words to just putting the A-class vowels there. So let's go with the mother. So mother being aim. If you say if you're not speaking, could be mistaken for nation, right? Or people. Anashim is men, right? But could be mistaken for nation if you're just speaking. If you're reading, it's going to be different because you have the ayin versus the aleph. So you have people, and I pray that everyone understands, I'm coming so sincerely right now, that will go to the Blue Letter Bible to bring out what the words means, right? And then they add the vowels and use that example to say, well, it wasn't like that. But here's what I'm going to do. Let's remove the vowels. I told you all that mother is only aleph and mem. If you add another letter after that, unless you are man, that sound came out. Unless you are speaking a different dialect, because Ima in Aramaic is aleph, mem, aleph. Okay? Ima, or people might say Amma, in Aramaic is aleph, mem, aleph. In Hebrew, there is no letter after that for mother. If you add another letter, it's a different word. So people will go to Ezekiel 6, between Ezekiel 6 and 8, and then they'll go to Genesis, I forgot what chapter, and bring out a word that's called, it's two different words, Amma and Emma. Right? Amma and Emma. At the end of those words, it will have a hey. The definition of those two words, trying to go off memory, is cubit. That's the definition. It's literally cubit. What you needed to build something, a foundation. Right? A foundation is, let's make it more Hebraic. What is supposed to be the foundation of the home? The father and the mother. The foundation of the home is supposed to be the mother and the father and the mother, Ab and Aim. Amma and Emma, because it's not pronounced the same. If the patak and the kamats were the same sound, we wouldn't need both of them. Every vowel point makes a different sound. Every letter makes a different sound. But modern Hebrew has became more lazy with it. I remember the brother of I think it's Windsor. I can't think of his name right now, but he wrote the book from Timbuktu, Babylon and Timbuktu. His brother had contacted me through someone else because they didn't understand how I was pronouncing certain things, which was different. And he was like, yeah, he asked me the question. He started getting my understanding of certain things when I got on the phone with me. And then the guy that was brought, or who brought him, the brother of Windsor, I'm not saying his name right, forgive me, you all, told him, like, he's actually right. He said the way that he's speaking is the way that we will read in the temple. But we are more relaxed when we're speaking. But we should be speaking like that if we were going off the vowel points. And most people don't really go off the vowel points, even though we're teaching that people are going off the vowel points when they really don't when they're speaking. So you have aim, Aleph, Mem. Then you have Aleph, Mem, Hey. That is what was what people use to kind of show too. You know, we could use this for Ema or Ama. Again, I teach. If you say Ema or Ama, go ahead. It's a borrowed word. It's Aramaic, but Hebrews use it because it's a borrowed word. Some people say, well, no, you know, they go into the Aramaic and all that. I'm not going to get into that. But it's a borrowed word. Borrowed words are okay. Like Hebrews will say musika. And Zimra is more so should be used with dealing with music or notes and stuff like that. That's more biblical. Musika is not. It's a borrowed word. Okay? I know it seems like I'm getting off track, but it's just so much to talk about. So much. And I'm trying to, and I hope I haven't lost you all. I hope you all have taken some notes and something that I'm saying and could gather this. But I'm going to end it with the mother. So, Ama, Amma. One word is dealing with cubit. And a cubit is what you need to understand to build. So that's the foundation. It's the architect. Right? So when you look up the word, it says the definition of the word is cubit. But it comes from a root word I forgot what it actually, a root word unused. And it means to mother or to nurse. To mother or to nurse does not mean that the word is mother. To mother or to nurse is just how you are, what's the word? What I want to say? You're nurturing something to make sure that it stands, right? You go to a hospital, a nurse's job is to nurture you, to get you back together so you can stand and function properly. You don't have a mother in your life, but you got a mother figure. Their job is to mother you, to give you that nurture so you can function properly. The cubit's job is to be the foundation of whatever is getting built. So it's mothering the structure so it can stand. So it derives from that word, but it's not that word. But we don't understand that. So again, Amma and Amma. So Amma, I believe, is the one that talks about dealing with a maidservant or a slave. Well, that might be the Amma. Amma might be the one that's dealing with the cubits. So these are totally different words. These are not the word for mother. These are the words for cubit in the scripture, in the Tanakh. When you actually go to the chapter and verse that we use for that Amma and Emma, it's telling you what it's being used for. When you go to the root, that is not necessarily all the time the meaning of the word that you're looking up. It's just telling you what it comes from, but that doesn't make that the meaning of the word that was built from it. We have a lot of growing to do and understanding to get with this topic. But I encourage you to do whatever dialect you want. But as it pertains to Phoenician script, pictograph, Paleo script, Aramaic block script, I'm closing right now. As it dealing with those four, those are only systems, writing systems to convey a message. That is it. That is not the language. The language is speaking, you all. The scripts is just conveying the message. No matter how powerful it is in meaning. You know, Aleph, Bet, strength, father, leader of the house. I get it. But those are still just scripts to convey a message, because honestly, the word itself is the meaning of what those letters that's forming the meanings technically mean. If a Spanish person, whoever was to say ab or aim, you know, it still just means father and mother. I really believe this is hindering us. I really believe for those that are Hebrew or Bnei Yisrael, Israelites, when it comes to language, I believe the fight with one another, not fight, but, you know, the debate in this arena with these dialects and, you know, differences of opinion, how you speak it, is causing many people not to want to learn, or many people to be complacent with just saying shalom. Right? So with that, I yield. I hope this helped. I hope that something that was said came out. I hope I didn't miss anything. I said a whole lot because I had to. I hope something or a few things that I said will get you to come ask questions. But I'm going to tell you right now, you all, I don't debate. I did that when I first came into the walk, and even when I did it, I tried to still come balanced. I tried to still get people to understand or realize what I did find out. I really didn't speak on things that I didn't know. I didn't speak on things I didn't know like that. And a lot of us are doing that. We're speaking on things, we're regurgitating things, and we have no idea. We can't even construct sentences on our own. We can't even speak. So if we're not able to do that, there should be more humility. Speak what you know. I'm not saying don't speak what you know. You know, if you know how to break a word down, if you know what a word means, like really means, if you know what letters means and its numerical value, I encourage you, teach that to people. But do not tell people that the other stuff is wrong. That's not true. It's not true at all. There's a lot of reasons as to why things are. So going forward, what I'll do, because I want people to start speaking more, I'll implement the Paleo script with, you know, sentences and stuff that I formulate for the people that I teach and those that may want to learn how to speak, converse in the language. I'm going to add that to it as well. So if you just want to use Paleo script, but you still, to convey what you're saying, the script is just a script. It's not a language. It's a script. Scripts are scripts. It's not languages, because multiple language groups use the scripts. So, all right, you all, this was long enough. I wasn't going to do the video, but I was encouraged to do it just to help other people. Maybe it won't help the people that teach what they teach. And, you know, I support the people that's trying to teach and get the people to learn. So this may not touch those people, the people of old and the people of present that's teaching these things. But hopefully it'll touch those that are sincerely wanting to learn and sincerely wanting to speak. All right, shalom, lehitrot, yebrechem, Yehovah, wa yishmerechem, shalom.